Hello guys, my name is Amit Sani and I welcome you in this Daily Hindu Analysis video in the morning. These videos come in the evening, the MCQ lessons they come. Both the lessons you need to follow religiously. Do not miss the evening lessons. And let's start the issues. Editorials, facts, everything we discuss here. And 4th of October it is. Pocket News app is trending on Google Play. You can download that regarding these courses. The descriptions are given below the video. You can call on these numbers and the website address is given here. Chat section is available. PDF you will get here on this channel and Telegram channel you will get here. You can follow me on Instagram too. And first issue is Delhi's tap water fails BIS test, Bureau of Indian Standard. And a very important issue, Indian standards in the issue of drinking water. You see, the piped water is a kind of the next big dream for the government. Like for 2024 till 2024, they promise to bring piped drinking water to all households. So here, first thing important regarding drinking water is the quality of it. All the issues of quality are questionable in this country, whether these are the packaged food items, even the agriculture products, and the perishable items like fruits and all, and these issues related to drinking water. Even the groundwater is heavily polluted. The kind of pollutions we have, arsenic pollution, uranium pollution, everything we have in this country, and the piped drinking water dream would not be useful if the pollution problem and the contamination problem is not contained. So here it's a shocking thing in the capital of this country, and even the sample was taken from the minister's house, where on 42 parameters, you cannot imagine, pH levels, odor, metal content, TDS, it failed all the tests. Means it looks like they are taking a water from some kind of a drain, and this is happening in the piped water condition even in the minister's home. So you can imagine what kind of country we actually are and what we claim. We claim all about the nature's phenomena and the natural ways and all. So these are harsh truths that quality checks in this country, they are questionable. Most of the times, many of our products are banned in other countries because the quality checks are not that much important. The hygienic conditions and the standards issues are really questionable many of the times, and this is the very basic thing, the drinking water problem. So if we want to pursue this dream, then first thing we need to check here is the quality standards, and it is the drinking water, means everything is dependable here. Healthy India will be possible only with the healthy drinking water, and then we come to the food. Without health you cannot imagine any good future, and already we are struggling with many problems, and the NCDs are a big menace, and these kind of contaminated water, contaminated food conditions, they are pushing further these huge challenges of NCD, because these metals and different pH levels, if they are present in the drinking water, then we will certainly face challenges like cancer or any other diseases. So that's why it's a very sensitive issue, and Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, according to the government, is a huge success, and they have declared open defecation free. Regarding that, we discussed an article. Next is the Swachh Pani Abhiyan. So it's a clarion call given by the minister there, Mr. Paswan there. So they will see. And last BIS standards, they were made in 2012. But since then, there is no great follow-up. And now the lab results they will publish, but we do not know what kind of results they will show. But this is the reality there. All samples fail to meet the 42 parameters. So that's the issue. Next, Kartarpur corridor. The issue is going on for many months now. And Mr. Manmohan Singh, the former Prime Minister of India, he denied earlier. Now he will be the part of first Jatha to Pakistan as the batch of pilgrims. You may say Jatha means batch of pilgrims. It's a very close vicinity. Across the border, only 4-kilometer distance is there. Here on this highway, Dera Baba Naik's holy place is there, and from here 2 kilometers is the border, and from here Kartarpur is just 4 kilometers away. And the geographical question they may ask you, which river they cross? This is the Ravi river, because Ravi river is flowing just outside the Lahore city, and issue of 1929, the call of independence by Mr. Nehru. That was the same place on the banks of river Ravi. So that same Ravi is here. Above that, the corridor will be running. So that's very important. And this is going to be the 550th Prakash Parv of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. So the holiest thing for Sikhs, and not only for Sikhs, for all the people from all the communities. It's a great day. So two nations are involved, and the biggest rivals, you may say, or you may say today they are surely enemies of each other. The kind of event that we saw in UN, the speech of Mr. Imran Khan, very provocative speech it was. And here at this stage, our official stand is that we will not be involved in any kind of formal talks with Pakistan till the time it doesn't stop the terror sponsorship issue. So this can be a new start. We will have many articles after this first visit of pilgrims to the place, but you see, a lot of politics is also involved. But you see, when we talk about the culture, religion and the soft diplomacy issue, then these are extremely important points. So this can be included in any mains answer writing. But because the politics is extremely involved in this topic, so the views and the opinions may be distorted very easily. And for sure, this can be a very good topic for the international relations topic in the mains. So be careful about the points that you write based on these issues, and certainly they can enrich your answer. But any biased view, any unwanted view, and anything which is not of the international diplomacy standard, although it's a topic of soft diplomacy, but any distorted fact or any distorted opinion may give you problematic marks in the mains. So that's the issue, and we will discuss many more articles on that. And the prelims details are way more important from this topic. Like Guru Nanak Dev settled here in the last 18 years of his life. So they may ask you whether he was born here or not. So this is a wrong fact. The right fact is that he was here in the last 18 years of his life, and the 550th birth anniversary is there this year in November. So that's really important. Next, Odisha to strictly enforce ban on single-use plastic. A very important call from a state. And if states start this kind of race, then this country would be way better a country, because the single-use plastic, the hottest topic of this year for the whole world, not only for India but for the whole world. And on our side, we are making many commitments. We have banned the import of it, and many steps we are about to take here. But officially, Odisha is enforcing the single-use plastic ban. They announced it last year, but on the 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, they have executed this plan, and they will be jailing all those repeated offenders here. And the awareness campaigns are very important in these kind of issues. Like the Sudarshan Patnaik, the world-renowned sand artist, he made a art piece there saying no to single-use plastic. So the awareness campaigns are the most important aspect of these kind of goals, because the public involvement is the crucial issue, and they should be motivated here, because motivation is the key to success in these plans. So that's really important, and they will be involving all the machinery there. The Housing and Urban Development departments will enforce the ban in municipal corporations, urban local bodies, and the Panchayati Raj department will enforce it in rural areas of the state. So that's important. But this ban is not there by the center till now. That's a thing to be remembered. Next issue is drones. Yesterday I asked you a question regarding the drone, and that Innovators Summit sponsored by World Economic Forum is being held in New Delhi. So drones are also one of the hottest topics in the technological aspect. And Drone Olympics we organized this year in the PIB lesson. I discussed with you this issue in the month of February. And these points are very, very important, because as I told you, they can give ultimate solutions, but there can be many severe problems attached with the drones. They can deliver medical supplies, food items, or any other services, but they can deliver bombs also. So that's why the regulation, the issue of legislation, and the issue of other controls and legislation, they are the most important aspect that they are discussing in the Drone Innovators Network Summit, and it is organized by World Economic Forum with Civil Aviation Ministry, because Civil Aviation Ministry has released many regulations and the requirements last year. So that's why it's very important. Now this topic talks about the negative consequence, as we see many accidents with respect to birds and the airplanes. But now the drones are more and more popular, and the uses are rising. So when their movement is threatening the birds, that's a sensitive issue. And you see, it's drones are not like airplanes. They will not fly on such heights. They will be very close to the earth, where maximum number of birds are flying. So in the Nilgiris it was seen, and the wildlife enthusiasts like M. Sanatana Naranam, a lawyer also, he photographed the breeding pairs of Shaheen falcons in Gudalur, and the drones pose a huge threat to birds of prey, because some birds are very heavy, and these fans of these drones and all, they can cut their feathers, or they can even cut their bodies. So this can be very dangerous, and for the endangered species, this issue is way more important. So you can write this point. It's a very important addition for your balancing of the answer, means the uses of the drones and the associated problems with it. So it will be the part of the problems, but we have to bring solutions for this issue, and for sure we may have solutions there. But drones are the future, and they will be used very heavily, I tell you. Now we come to the articles today. Not much informations are there in the newspaper. Article is very important, and although it is important for GS paper 2 and 3, issue related to MNCs and the FDI and the equity issues, so the article is very technical. So that much technicality we do not need in our examination point of view, but understanding the issue is important. So listen carefully, and you can repeat the lesson if you do not understand anything, because some things are technical like the equities and all. So I will try to explain it in the easiest terms. MNCs, multinational companies, are there today. The pattern is changing. The internet giants like Google, Facebook, Twitter, their influence is rising, and their market presence is like that winner takes all. This kind of platforms they work on, because the business model is such that they have huge interaction with the people across the globe. Means the participation, the interaction, and the presence of these companies is there in every person's phone. People are using these platforms, so they get all the sponsorships, they get all the advertisements. And you can take the example of YouTube. If somebody would talk about videos, then YouTube is the first choice. And now you can imagine how much presence YouTube would have across the globe. So all the advertisements, all the involvements, the business proposals and all, they will go to these companies. So winner takes all. These kind of platforms, these are heavily market distorting, but their presence is there in many of the countries, like in India also, Google India, YouTube India, these offices are there. These are the subsidiaries there. So their earning models, their taxation models, and their investment models are always controversial. Now these firms are characterized essentially by inequitable dynamics. Certainly these will be inequitable dynamics, because the kind of presence they have today, that is rising day by day, and the speed of progress is extremely fast. So other simple companies, they cannot match their performance, and that's why what they do, means if any other company will start to rise, then they will take over that. Like the WhatsApp was becoming popular, then Facebook bought it. So this way they are heavily capitalist, and they have enormous capacities to destroy others too, whether they will take over or they will destroy another company. So this kind of monopoly they are bringing in the market. Now FDI 1.0 means the first version of investment, first phase of investment in India, that welcomed these investments irrespective of these frameworks. But now in the second phase, which we expect, we need to manage these issues very effectively, because they are eroding the benefits and the righteous stakes of Indian investors and the Indian government there. We have to change this framework of winners MNC takes it all, and it should not be a fait accompli, because we cannot leave things on the fate of other companies, because they will be devastated with this way, because they are rising and their presence is rising and they are becoming so huge, because their basis is internet and everybody is mad about internet today. So here China is the example. China banned all these internet MNCs first, and that's why this led to China creating 9 out of 20 global internet leaders. Alibaba and other giants, we know all about them, and that's why there is a huge rivalry that is going on regarding the Huawei company's issue. We all know what happens there. So this is all because China did not compromise here, and it did not compromise the national interests there, national investors' interests there, national business people's interests there, and they had all the potential. So they started their own tech giants there, and 9 out of 20 they are there from China. And even it posed many conditions to these MNCs and their subsidiaries, that they have to enter into 50-50 joint ventures there, and they have to share the technology, they have to share patents there. Then only the Chinese market will be available. Otherwise, this thing is not allowed. And that's why China is the target of American companies there for sure. Now, in India, we have not thought this much deep, and we have just advertised our FDI issues, and these are always political during election campaigns, and in many other announcements we talk about these things, but this much professionalism in our approach was not visible. But now we have to take these issues very seriously. In 1978, Indian government adopted a policy that required equity dilution by 100% foreign owned companies. What is the equity? Suppose a company is there, 51% shares are there with the company, so it has the ownership with it. Now 49% share it will release in the market. So maybe 49 people will come and they will buy these 49% shares. Suppose 49 shares are there, and one share costs 10,000 rupees. So people will invest. So 49 shares are given to 49 people, means every person has 1% stake in the company. 1% ownership of the company is there with every person, and in total 49 people have 49% shares. 51% are there with the company. So these are the equities, means equal shares are there, and they have a kind of ownership as much shares they own. So they have made investment, company demanded their investment, and now they have accepted their investment, and the 1% ownership is there with them. So this is not the case with MNCs. People are not able to invest in these MNCs because their shares are not traded on Indian stock exchanges. So Indian investors, they are not able to invest there, and these companies are not listed on Indian platforms like any other company which is listed there on the stock exchanges and all. So they invite domestic taxation laws, but those are not applicable on MNCs, and their subsidiaries are very controversial issues. Always taxation issues are always controversial, like the Vodafone case is going on. So that's why we need to make some changes, and here to extend Make in India project in true spirit, the writer is proposing some solutions here. 2 proposals he is giving here. Proposal 1, like Bangladesh, China, Mexico, they have done, even Bangladesh have done this thing. We can have these solutions in the phase 2 of the FDIs. First, we need to enlist these companies, means we need to attract these companies to get enlisted on Indian platforms. Like Mexico was the most successful one here. AB, InBev, Coca-Cola, Walmart, these huge companies, but they are enlisted on Mexico's exchanges there. So if they are enlisted, then we will be able to apply our domestic laws there, our domestic taxation proposals there, and they will compete with the Indian counterparts in a fair manner. Otherwise, the present model where we are allowing 100% MNC owned subsidiaries to compete with they're listed in Indian counterparts, because Indian counterparts are only listed, they are not. So it is very devastating for Indian counterparts, and they are not able to compete there with these tech giants like Google, YouTube, Twitter. These are huge platforms, and Indian the Indian counterparts and other smaller companies are not able to compete with them. So that is why this enlisting is important, and we need to bring some attractive proposals for that. Like Bangladesh has done that, Mexico has done that, and in addition, proposal 2 is also to be applied here. Means only proposal 1 will not help. Additionally, proposal 2 should be there. Means their stakes must be traded in India. Like as I told you that we are not able to invest in these stocks because their stocks are not traded on Indian stock exchanges. That must be allowed. And for the investment, we can apply some models like the liberalized remittance scheme, which is going on in India since 2000 year. February 2004, they introduced this scheme, and it was started with $25,000. Now every fiscal year, anybody can freely remit up to $250,000 per financial year. So these kind of models can be applied. So these was technicalities we do not need. Just you need to know what is LRS scheme, because the foreign contributions, they are managed under the FEMA Act of 1999. Okay, and some are capital investments, some are other current account investments and all. So this LR scheme is applied there, that they can remit up to $250,000 per financial year. So for that investment in the international companies stocks, we will need to bring these kind of models. So we can discuss that, and those will be very helpful. So these proposal 1 and proposal 2 will be balancing the factor, and it will be a win-win situation for Indian stakeholders, Indian investors, and for the companies too, because it will raise the trust of these companies in India. It will increase their investors base, because Indian investors will be allowed there, so more and more money will be invested in their companies. So that will be a good situation for these companies too, these MNCs too, and we will be able to apply our domestic taxation laws on them. So that will be good for the government and for the India as an entity too. Okay, means the transactions in comparable domestic and foreign securities, there we can apply our Indian taxation laws, and if these are not enlisted on Indian platforms, then we may apply higher taxes, so that they will automatically move towards enlisting themselves on the Indian platforms. So these kind of things we can apply here. So if we want to mirror Mexico here, like it has been most successful in attracting this kind of investments and this kind of models of these MNCs, so these things we can apply there. So these points directly you can write, and these are more technical terms, but for the mains answer writing, sometimes these kind of technical questions are also coming, so they can ask you simple things, but you can put additional points there. So these models would be good. Summing up the matter, increasing Indian equities ownership of MNCs would offer diversification, benefits, and make Indians more prosperous. As I told you, it's a win-win situation for all stakeholders, because it will increase the investors base for them, the goodwill will be rising, and the trust factor will rise for these companies, and it will more a organized system, and it will be a fair market above all. So that's why this must be applied. So GS paper 2 and 3 both will be important here in this matter. Next article is regarding a important Supreme Court's judgment in DAV College Trust versus Management Society versus Director of Public Instructions. The matter was related to NGOs. Supreme Court said that we will have to see the intention, we will have to see the broader goals, we will have to see the establishment there, and on those bases we will declare any NGO, any entity as a public authority, there would not be any strict norm that only on the funding patterns we will declare any authority as public authority, because apart from the money, lands, any services, these are also important supports. Not only finances are the supports. So only on the basis of substantial financing we will not declare. We will see the broader consequences, broader intentions, and why they are getting funding, and what they will do of that funding. According to that, we will declare any authority, any entity as public authority. And if they are declared as public authority, then the RTA will be applicable there. They will be answerable. So this judgment is extremely important for the political parties in India. India is a democracy. Political parties are the lifelines of the democracy, but their workings are extremely problematic. They never want to give details of their political funding. We all know these are political parties. They have to work for the country, and they will run the systems there, the government there. So obviously these are highest public authorities for sure. You cannot call them simple organizations, and you cannot hide their informations. These are not private business entities, although they are behaving more like corporate entities these days, and they have hidden all the election funding issues. Even they brought up election bonds, but the former CEC S.Y. Qureshi said that it's a organized system of hiding all the election funding patterns, and the nexuses between these corporate entities and businesses and the political parties, they will be way more stronger, because any sum of money can be given to the political party, and this way they have even said openly that to the public we will not tell anything about the election funding. This is our personal issue. So in a way, if these nexuses are going on, then people will not know about anything, and this money will be given to the political parties, and these political parties will make policies according to these election funders, as these corporate entities are, and this will be all secretive issue, and they never want to come under the purview of RTI. So earlier in 2010, ADR filed a application there, and they wanted to know the 10 maximum voluntary contributions to the parties, but they did not give that, and this petition reached up to CIC. CIC said that these are public authorities and they are within the purview of the RTI Act, and these political parties, they are directed to designate central public information offices, and these officers will be giving all the information which are asked by the normal public there or the RTI petitioners there. But this was the most problematic thing for all the parties, means they have all the differences under the sun, but on this issue they all were unified. This RTI complaints issue was a great unifier for them. Why? Because this could have brought all these political parties under problem. They all seek illegal fundings there. Black money is certainly coming in the election funding, and that's why our elections are crossing 50-60,000 crore rupees marks. This time it was the highest level of funding in the Lok Sabha elections. It crossed around 57,000 crore rupees and maybe more than that. So this is really a devastating number. Means in this country where poorest people are living, kids are dying every day of the malnutrition, and we are spending 60,000 crore rupees in the elections, and we do not tell this information to the public. We can suppose a condition here. Suppose these people who are taking loans from the government, these public sector banks, and out of some political pressure, these bank officials are pressured to give loans to these corporate houses. Then they do not take collaterals, and these loans, they fail after some time, and then these rich people, they will fled from this country. So they gave thousands of crores of rupees to these political parties. Then they were given loans, or they were given some additional benefits, like the policies were made according to their businesses. So it's a kind of a great nexus. But Can we know about the funding? No. So can we claim that there is a nexus between the parties and the these corporate entities? No, we cannot say that, because all things are secretive. But still, we are mad behind the political parties and the leaders. So we should support them. But we cannot be blind about these political parties and the leaders. We must hold them accountable. That's the ultimate need there. So that is why the RTI complaints issue is extremely important for the political parties. So this decision which came regarding the NGOs, that is totally applicable to the political parties there, and they are certainly the public authorities, because what they are for, they are here for the country, they are here for the public. They are not there to earn crores of rupees, although they earn, but the service is totally for the public. So it is certainly a public authority, and they must comply with the RTI norms. And this was the reason that all parties came together and they did not talk about this bill, and the bill which came in 2013, that got lapsed. Okay, and they never brought political parties under the RTI purview in a legislative way. Now what they did, some solutions were demanded, because it was a clear problem that they did not want to come under the purview of RTI. So from the next government, a proper solution was expected. But what they did, they took a dire step even to dilute the RTI issue totally. They changed the service conditions of the Chief Information Commissioners and the other officials there. And nothing can be a bigger blow to the RTI as an institution. Means indirectly they want to end this institution. So you can have a nice evaluation of the present working by the government, because it can be the greatest parameter for their honesty and their commitment to the country. They do not want to be accountable at all. Means some improvements were needed, because the previous governments and the parties, they did nothing for this issue, and they did not bring political parties under RTI purview. And it was expected that the next government would do something good here. But what they did, they even destroyed the RTI issue indirectly. Now leave about the political parties. Any kind of information will be very difficult to get from RTI, because these officials will be under the central government's condition. Indirectly, central government will decide that what kind of information will be given to the public or not. So ultimately, the problematic issues where we will be trying to know some secretive ways of the government, they will never tell you. That's the issue. So that's why there are huge problems, and these things normal people, they do not know. But still they behave like blind people, and they just dance around these political parties, political leaders, and in a so foolish way they forget about all the accountability issues. So it doesn't matter which party is there, it doesn't matter which leader is there, the accountability issue must remain there. And the kind of environment we are observing politically in this country, this is really problematic, where we are glorifying leaders like this is not even a democracy, and we are forgetting about all the accountability issues. These are extremely problematic, and the RTI dilution issue was the real problem for the democracy and the future of this country. But we do not care about this issue. That's really problematic. Okay, so we have to get a solution here. And as B.R. Ambedkar said that Constitution has made organs of the state, but the real working of the Constitution and the influence of the Constitution will only be visible if the political parties will be honest. They will be working according to the constitutional values, and they will carry out the responsibilities there, not the wishes of their politics. But all the political parties, all the leaders, it doesn't matter how much glorification is there, how much advertisement we see on every street of these leaders and the political parties, all have a single aim: anyhow survive in the politics. All money, all power should come to them, and they would not want to be accountable at any place to the people of India. So this is all for today. We will meet again tomorrow, and do come in the MCQ lesson. Thanks a lot. Keep watching. It was Amit Sani.